we're back on the Zero Hour. I'm your host, Richard RJ Eskow. Before we go, I wrote this week about something that's really scaring me and bothering me. And the reason why I use those two terms, I'll explain. What scares me is that we now, with the advent of digital technology, have the ability to censor not just speech, not just news media, not just commentary, but personal communications as well. And even more than that, our very perception of the world around us can be censored. It's a huge and troubling thing, which is why either on Common Dreams or on this program, Substack, eskow.substack.com, that's eskow.substack.com, you can find the article which I call Ma Bell with Mind Control, Liberalism, Radicalism, and the Evolving Face of Censorship. Basically, the point I try to make, first I describe why I call it mind control and a new evolving form of censorship. And then I go into why I'm concerned that so many Democrats and self-described liberals are calling for censorship on digital media, because while I get that they're frightened and concerned, the consequences could be worse. The cure could be worse than the disease. So first of all, read the piece. I can't summarize it in a few minutes, but the gist of it is what I just said. Ma Bell was a monopoly. That was Bell Telephone, owned all the telephone systems in this country. And it was determined in the 1960s that was too much monopolistic control. So it was broken up. AT&T was broken up into a variety of regional companies. But what Ma Bell, as it was called, couldn't do, it couldn't listen in on a phone conversation and censor parts of it that political leaders thought were unappetizing or dangerous. It couldn't, if I called somebody, pretend that I never tried to make the call. But on Facebook, for example, just to pick, or Twitter, if you or I tweets out something that the censorship groups, although they don't call themselves that, want to cover up, then people will never even know we did it. It'll just be suppressed from their timelines or their feeds. That is a really scary thing. That's an element of mind control. It's an element of reality manipulation. And, they haven't reached the point of censoring emails yet. But when we think about the fact that tweeting has been a kind of party line in the old-fashioned party lines where a lot of people were on, or a kind of community channel for sharing information, the idea that tweets can be suppressed or quote unquote disappeared, the idea that Facebook posts can be suppressed or disappeared should frighten people a lot more than it does. And you know what else should frighten people is when people like former Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, are the kinds of people the government is turning to for advice, or when groups like the Atlantic Council, which are part of the national security establishment, are deciding which tweets should be suppressed and which should be promoted. We really are facing a scary moment in history where we may see our absolute freedoms, as we've always defined them, under assault, and freedoms we don't yet fully understand under assault too. And we could see people who call themselves liberals leading the charge. And I'm very, very concerned about it. Anyway, that's it for this week. We'll see you next week on the Zero Hour.